Hello, how's it going, everyone? It's been 1 month since N7Day, and we didn't had anything this year as expected from previous years because we always had like a teaser, a concept art, and this year it was more just very quiet. And I expected this to happen because Bioware posted 4 days before in 7 day that they're not gonna show something this year, and they actually set those expectations before. But and the reason for it is because of Dragon Age the Veilguard's release, and they didn't want to post some Mass Effect news or a teaser, and they didn't want to overshadow the Veilguard with Mass Effect. But to me, it won't overshadow the Veilguard because if you show something small, like a small concept art, a concept art will have been better, in my opinion. See what's hiding in it and what secrets, but I think there's also um, people are actually kind of very tired of this teasing with Game Ball. I remember it was one person on Twitter which said that they're actually tired of this marketing, and Game Ball replied, "People are actually tired of this marketing. Some people love it." And Game Ball also said something between the lines of that about the teasings he does and everything. And I have to be honest, I want to see something more concrete. All these years that I've been seeing those teasers, I actually want to see something more. I was like, okay, we are having 2 years in a row, some small teasers. Next year, we're gonna have something more of revealing. And next year comes, we don't have anything. It's again something more secret. And we go like that for every year. And I was kind of tired, but at the same time, I enjoyed those teasers. And yeah, I believe that people need to see something more revealing. But given that the Veilguard haven't wasn't out yet, and all the developers from that were helping to make Dragon Age the Veilguard to finish the game so it can be out on time. And now all these people are going to move to the next Mass Effect. But yeah, I think that we had teasers here and there with videos, concept arts. I believe that that's actually a clever marketing because I haven't seen a marketing like this with its secrecy and stuff. It's actually really interesting because they show something, they reveal something, but it's not actually more, it's not very revealing. It shows, and at the same time, it doesn't show anything. And I think that's a fun thing to do. But it also sets expectations. And those expectations have been set from way back in 2020 with that first teaser trailer with Liara uncovering the N7 headpiece from the snow. I'll have to admit that I believe that this is Shepard's return. And I was like, Shepard is coming back, but I haven't noticed Liara's face. And as I've told in my previous videos, you'll see that how Liara is much older with confirmation, with tweets that confirm her being old. And Liana from Game Informer, which is said that two Bioware developers told her that she is old. And that's pretty much confirmation of her being old. I don't think we have to debate whether she is or not. So I believe that Liara is much older. There's no debate about it. And I don't agree with it being a technological advancement. And we see her face clearly now. Her whole face is covered with wrinkles. And if we go by that explanation from people saying that this is a technological leap, then every character in every game will have wrinkles on their faces. Yes, you can have wrinkles on some parts of the face, but not like that. And even before she smiles, you can actually see them. This N7Day, as I said, was very disappointing for some people, but I think next year is going to be the big year for Mass Effect because this is when we're gonna see the official reveal. I think we're gonna see the characters. And this year we had a small surprise. Actually, it's not a surprise. We knew about it from 2021 that Mass Effect is getting its series from live action series from Amazon. And Variety had this exclusive cover which says Mass Effect TV series in the works at Amazon from Fast and Furious 9 Rider. A Mass Effect TV series is officially in development at Amazon MGM Studios. Daniel Casey is set to write and executive produce the adaptation. Karim Drake will executive produce under his Cedar Tree Productions banner with Ari Arad and EA's Michael Gambel also executive producing. Cedar Tree is currently under an overall deal at Amazon MGM Studios. Exact plot details are being kept under wraps. So Casey most recently worked on the screenplay for Fast 9. He is also known for his work on films like the sci-fi drama Keen and did rewrites on 10 Cloverfield Lane. Drake was previously an executive at the now defunct Marvel television unit. He served as an executive producer on hit shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Punisher, and Legion. Arad has previously produced adaptations of the games Borderlands, Uncharted, and Ghost in the Shell. He also served as an executive producer on Iron Man, Ghost Rider, and the 2006 Blade TV series. So yeah, what I think having a series is great, but what worries me with most of these live action series is how it's going to be, because you have all these aliens and Amazon is not very good with its series lately. We had Fallout, which is a very good adaptation, but we also have Rings of Power, and yeah, it was $1 billion. It actually doesn't follow the books at all. And all these live adaptations from video games is what worries me. I think Amazon is also doing God of War. They also did Yakuza. I hear that Yakuza is not good. Mm. And then we have Halo, which was awful. CGI was on point, everything was on point. Master Chief was. They ruined this character. They ruined Master Chief so much from the games. I cannot even. But thankfully, they've canceled the series. But here, what worries me with Mass Effect is Casey, the executive producer, which directed Fast and Furious 9. And we all know Fast and Furious movies are not good. They don't make sense at all. You don't feel investment in the characters. The writing is awful. Um, yeah. Here, that's what worries people. This guy from Fast and Furious is the one that makes people worrying about Mass Effect. Um, I don't know about the other guys. I think they worked on some good series, which they were very big, and yeah. And we have Michael Gambel as an executive producer. So I don't know how much influence he's gonna have on the project, but I don't know. I wonder what he's going to bring on the table for this series. Many want it to be a separate series, but they don't want it to be with one protagonist. They want to have both shepherds and make them related, because if you have male shepherd, I don't know, most people played with male shepherd, so I guess they might make shepherd male here. But we don't know what events they're going to cover. What maybe they're going to cover First Contact War, because First Contact War is much more easier to do. You will have a lower budget and you're going to introduce the Turians only and the humans. I don't know how they're going to make the Asarim. I mean, that's easy, but I don't know. Going to add all these species into the stories, how they're going to make the characters with new characters is going to be better, in my opinion. Because if they take Shepard, who's going to play Shepard? Who is going to voice him? Who's going to voice the female Shepard? Because all players are attached to these voices, and I was very attached to Master Chief voice. And when I learned that we're not gonna have the original voice actor for Master Chief, I didn't want to see the series. And I think it's going to happen here too, because if they bring Shepard back and they don't have the original voice actors back, I don't think people are going to be interested in this. So that's pretty much everything we know about the series. And also John Cena, I remember he posted an Instagram photo from Mass Effect 2 with Shepard, Miranda, and Jack, and many people think that he's going to play Shepard. Some others want him to play James Vega, but I don't know about John Cena. I'm not a fan of John Cena. I don't know what people they're going to cast. That's going to be very hard. And it's going to be very hard to please Mass Effect fans. So either this is going to be a hit or miss. So yeah, all these possibilities, either Shepard, a first contact war story with some original characters in it, or seeing Michael Gamble's involvement in the project. Maybe he's going to bring his own characters in the story. Maybe the new protagonist and its characters. Make a story about the characters, introduce them. But I don't know if that's going to happen because Mass Effect hasn't even hit production. I think it's very early in production now. The characters are not very materialized, and we don't know how much the series are going to take. I think it's going to be 3 years. I think it's going to take some time. Maybe it's going to be released along the game, like they did with Dragon Age, The Veilguard's Vows and Vengeance audiobook. They had this audiobook, and it was like before the game's release. So maybe here he's going to bring his characters into the story and introduce them, and then we're going to see the story on the game. There's many possibilities for it. It can be either this Shepard First Contact War or something new entirely. So yeah, we'll see about that. We also had a new costume, but for the Veilguard, which this costume revealed something interesting. And this was the costume for the Veilguard, which unveiled things. It had a note with it into the game. It was hidden in chest, and it said that I guess this chest got lost in the fade and someone shepherded it to our doorstep. Is it just me, or does the armor look somehow familiar, like something an old friend will wear? Okay, we all know that Harding is Ali Healy's voice actor, and she did Liara. And then also we had this formal enough to face a war council while still function on the battlefield beyond the stars, specter of battles past. Okay, here it doesn't actually reveal something, but they make it, because it's N7 code, it's the N7 code. And then we have a helmet. Yeah, I don't think this is something more the revealing part. The revealing thing was, yeah, it was this from Bone Diesel, and the company that worked on the jacket had a description coming with it saying officially licensed BioWare Mass Effect N7 Commander Shepard jacket. So that was the reveal of it. I don't know if that's an inside um mistake again, like they did with the lithograph from 2022, I think. No, it was from 2021. They revealed that lithograph saying Shepard and the survivors, they're picking up the pieces and revealed again, something like that. And here we have again Shepard being mentioned in this official d- description, actually, from this company that worked on the jacket. And that makes us believe that this is Shepard's jacket. So if that's Shepard's jacket, then this character we see walking on this teaser last year we see is actually Shepard. And I've seen a bunch of videos saying that this is Shepard. And in my video I'm saying that this is actually Liara. And I've explained why that's Liara. I still believe that's her. Maybe that's to confuse people, but here I remember that the companies that work on the merch and stuff, they don't know about the game. They don't tell them infos about the game. And Michael Gamble said that they don't know anything about the game. Maybe they want to cover it and not reveal that this is Shepard, but I believe that maybe it is, maybe it's not. We don't know for sure. We had this first teaser with the N7 piece. We had that mistake with the lithograph, with the mysterious crater and stuff. And then we had this one. I don't know. It's like they deliberately make it to tease people, and then they actually deleted this description with the N7 jacket. It's actually been um, deleted. So why this company puts Commander Shepard jacket? Maybe Bioware is telling them to write this stuff, and then when someone cuts those things and it spreads on the internet, they don't want people to see it a lot. So they delete these descriptions and then they keep it for a few people to see. I mean, Shepard coming back will be the most financially, it will bring them more money into the game. But there's a problem with all this. We had the Veilguard. I haven't played the Veilguard. You all say play the game so you can know, so you can have a better opinion on the game, and then you can judge it. I'll admit that Act 3 is the best part of the game. This is where it becomes interesting. The whole game, the writing was very weak. The writing was very weak to me, and I expected better because I've heard the whole Vows and Vengeance audiobook, and there were different writers there than in the game from what I've read by other people. And the game is actually the same quality as the audiobook. You don't see something different. So yeah, and one name in it, Mary DeMarle, actually is in the credits. I think she's in the credits. And that's kind of worrying because I don't know how much she wrote, what she was supposed to write in there, like some characters, some events. But that's kind of worrying because Mary DeMarle is actually a very good writer. She did Deus Ex, she did Guardians of the Galaxy. She can do these characters very nicely. And that depends on how the next Mass Effect is going to be. Because if the next Mass Effect is going to be like Veilguard, we are that's over. Even if they have Shepard in it, they're going to ruin Mass Effect. And some people told me about the new it was the board game, and they actually used a pronouns for Liara. And now she is she, they. And the whole debate with the Velgard was about all this stuff. Tash story was like a self-insert character. And I believe that that was like Corinne's version of it. Like she wanted to bring herself into the game and see the struggle of these people. I don't know. Tash could have been so much more interesting without all this drama. It was so unnecessary. Like she was getting mad for no reason when you like saying her to wear a dress to, and she was getting so mad at her mother, and her mother was actually the most logical person in there. And Rook actually is like, hey, don't respect my friend, okay? She is saying that she's non-binary, and the mom is like, what's that? And it was so laughable to me. And yeah, the Vilgard, I think it didn't make sense. I will be very honest because that's my opinion. Uh, it You can't put these things into a fantasy game. You cannot do this. And people do not want these things to exist at all in this game. This is what it it ruins the games. It was I mean they can do it like City Project Red. They can do it like Cyberpunk. It was like a very normal game. Even you have Judy. She had that preference. She likes women, but she was much she was such an awesome character. Here you have to show it, they have to put it in your face like, hey, you will call me this and that from now on. And she's task could have been great because some of her banter, like she's roasting and stuff, it was not bad. It could be like the body, like Carla from BG3, but yeah, we won't talk about Carla. Carla is on another whole level. Larian Studios is like they are like what Bioware should have been. And Bioware actually fell a lot from the old Bioware. But you will say, how are you saying this? And you enjoyed Andromeda. I actually enjoyed Andromeda. And I think it's way better than the Veilguard. And if the Veilguard is a return to form for Bioware, then I don't know what the next Mass Effect is going to be. If we have this level of quality in the next Mass Effect, I don't want it. The good thing about the Veilguard was the hair. The hair was awesome. Put that on the next Mass Effect. Um, yeah, I believe that we are in this position now that we have to wait and see. Some people don't have hopes at all. I myself don't have hopes for the next Mass Effect. And I'm just gonna wait to see what this new story is going to have, because I'm sorry, but doing all this false marketing, I believe that's false marketing. They putting Shepard's name into everything to sell the game, and then if they don't show Shepard, and if Shepard is not the protagonist, and you have a whole new crew and a new protagonist along with them, it's going to ruin the whole expectations of these people. And this is Bioware's fault, because when you saw the N7 headpiece, they're going to, yeah, they're going to expect something about Shepard. Not everyone is going to look at the same way I'm looking at all these teasers. They're not going to look at every single little pixel into the pic and analyze what's hiding in there. They're just gonna see this new cool poster. They're gonna say, "Oh wow!" And they're gonna wait for the game. I believe they're gonna have a big problem. The Vilgard is like, um, Vilgard is disappointing. I will play the game when it comes on Game Pass. I'm not gonna buy the game. Um, and Vilgard actually, I remember Vilgard having more dark teasers. It was way better than the final product, and that's what scares me for Mass Effect. Just if you take a look at all these teasers from the Vilgard, and then you go to the last, to actually the first teaser trailer with that awful music they chose on E3. Oh my god, like Mass Effect. Imagine if Mass Effect actually has all these dark teasers, and then you have this trailer, like the Veilguard. Yeah, I cannot say anything. Michael Gamble has his own team. The Veilguard developers are going to work on it. I don't know how many, maybe some of them. I hope Mass Effect is good. I want Mass Effect to do great and have something interesting. But yeah, a return to form for me is not the Veilguard. And I cannot say that bringing Shepard back will bring confidence into the story and the company, because you're gonna have new writers, new people. Yeah, they can write Shepard good. But honestly, if they touch Shepard, I don't think they're going to make them like they were. They're going to be way different. And what story they're gonna go with? Are they going to make Shepard a clone? Because that's circulating a lot into the community, that Shepard is going to be cloned, or that they're going to be put into a cryostasis. Um, they can do some stuff with Shepard. They can do some stories, because we had that small tease at the end of Mass Effect 3 with the old man and the child saying one more story. Maybe they can make a happy epilogue, as I said before. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Bringing Shepard back will ruin people's versions of Shepard. How they're going to write them. This is the most scary thing to me. And all these characters, are they going to come back? Like, are they going to be alive? What timeline are they going to set the next Mass Effect? It's, I believe they're going to be a lot of years after. So it's going to be 600 years later and on par with Andromeda's events, so they can connect. And this is where I think Shepard can come back. Even as a clone, 600 years is a lot of time. I think the most logical thing to happen is for Ryder to come back. I myself want Ryder to come back a lot. And we all know what happened with Andromeda. It didn't do well. People criticized a lot for the bugs, the glitches, the facial animations, and I agree to this. And they could have right they could have had a better scenario. The script could have been better, but it wasn't awful. And I think the Aquarian arc, the book, was very good because people actually enjoyed it. And that was a canceled DLC. And I don't believe that Andromeda didn't had DLC plans at all. I think they had, but they canceled them because of the internal problems they had of the development, people leaving, all these veterans left even before the Veilguard, and the Veilguard actually lost many veterans, and they actually had 50 people. The layoffs were that day. I remember Mary Kirby, which she worked like 20 years in Bioware. She wrote so many characters, um, has been laid off. And we have many layoffs in all these companies, but for Bioware, it's a bad sign a lot because it's a small company. It's not like this that like Rockstar or something. But I don't like to see people being laid off from their jobs. But unfortunately, this is the reality of it. So as I said, I want Ryder to come back. The Aquarian arc was very interesting to me. It should have been a DLC in its own. I remember a company actually leaked that they worked on the DLC for Andromeda, but Bioware scrapped that. And Gimbal came out and said that that's false. But I believe that's not false. It was very, very true. Andromeda could have had its DLC, the patches, bring a photo mode, bring some like patches for the next generation, like Legendary Edition. I think that Andromeda will have fared better if the DLC released and they took their time with it. And more people will turn into the game and play it, even those who were very critical of it. But they abandoned Andromeda and they put Mass Effect on ice for 2 years. They wanted to focus on Anthem. Then Anthem flopped. And that was a game that we're going to invest 10 years into its development. And then you had the Veilguard, which took like 4 years of development for its single player development because it was an online game. And the result was a very bad game because if you wait 10 years for the next Dragon Age. And this is the best you can do. And the same applies for Mass Effect. We are now 7 years after Andromeda's release. And I think it's going to be 10 years when Mass Effect 5 releases. Is that going to make it better? Are people going to wait for Mass Effect to turn better than the Veilguard and hope for the best? I don't know. I don't know about all this. Mass Effect to some people is dead even before Veilguard. Andromeda was the worst game from Bioware, from people saying, and it's not Andromeda's fault. Andromeda was at its core It was a good game, and I actually liked the game. I believe it's all Bioware's fault. Everything they put out is Bioware's fault. They don't take care of their games like they did before. But my point stands that the Veilguard, I think, is the worst Bioware game. Andromeda was way better than Veilguard. And yeah, that's bad for Dragon Age fans. Origins was the best Dragon Age for me and many others. It cannot be passed. The opening, that epic feeling you had from the first battle, the music, the characters, um, it cannot be topped. Vilgar didn't have epic moments at all. Like, even the ending, which was supposed to, you were supposed to lose all these characters and to fight with all these people, you don't feel anything. I can criticize the game, and I don't need to play the game to feel that, but I will play it. I don't know if they put all this stuff into the next Mass Effect like they did with Belgard, it's going to be the end. And I'm waiting patiently to see what they're going to do with it and what Mary DeMille has in store for people, what Michael Gambel is going to do. And I think that's going to be Michael Gamble's first work ever. This is going to be the first game he's going to direct because he was a producer in every DLC for the trilogy. The first game he ever produced was Andromeda. He only produced DLCs before that. And now he's going to direct the next Mass Effect. He's going to make the next Mass Effect. I think he's like a project director. And you have some of the old veterans there, like Parsley, Preston. But all these people working on it, even the veterans, is not like a positive. Doesn't mean anything for the people. Even you can have a new team and make the game so good and everything. How the going to handle it. I think they need to make a clean game without all these things they did with the Veilguard, with Tash. With Shepard, this is what worries me because they're going to put Shepard in the game, and imagine if they ruin this character. How is going to turn out for all these fans? All these people that wanted to see Shepard again. They wish that they never played this game with Shepard. And they're going to have the trilogy. And I think they know that bringing Shepard back is going to be a very, very serious move. Like, if you bring the Shepard into the forefront, then you have to make a great game. But I myself don't want to see Shepard. I think that Shepard's story is over, and all these events that led to the end were actually what made me feel from the first Mass Effect. This is what made me feel like Shepard is going to be the hero of this whole story. And I felt that they're going to sacrifice themselves. And I cannot say the same with Ryder because Ryder was like an explorer. It was more lighthearted in all its elements. Um, the danger wasn't very high, but it started more lighter. But yeah, the characters were way more fleshed out than the trilogy. I mean, the first Mass Effect, and you only have Liara, Kaden, and Ashley. They were the most fleshed out characters. The others were just there to tell you about their species and stuff. it was Mass Effect 2 that made these characters very interesting and made people love them. Garrus, Tali. And I think the next Mass Effect, if they bring Ryder and the crew back or add some new to the mix, I think it's going to be good. But again, I can't have hopes. I can have hopes. Either they're going to make it good or they're going to screw it up. So everything is just a wait and see situation for me and many other people. Um, and I believe all these theories I'm making are going to be way more interesting than the game. This is what always happens in the games. And all these teasers, these mysterious teasers, are what makes the game, what makes me pay attention to the next game. And the first thing I want to see is a protagonist. I want to see them reveal next year who we're going to play as Shepard, have Ryder, or a new crew and a player character. And I still believe that we're going to play as a new player. We're going to have a new protagonist, a new story. I don't think game will want to take Shepard back. I don't know. My hopes for the next Mass Effect are low. My expectations within it are zero. I was more hyped a few years back for I maybe see Shepard and Ryder together or see Ryder. Yeah, I was very excited. But now my hopes are getting more low and my expectations. And I think that's the best thing to do. And for all the other people, I don't think your expectations should be big. Because this is what makes people disappointed in the end. Unfortunately, this happened with the Shepard a lot, the teasers and everything. So I don't think that's going to stop. Everything they're going to show is going to be a Shepard situation in it. They're going to want to see Shepard, and if they don't see Shepard, they're going to be so angry. And after the Vilgard, people don't want to see Mass Effect at all. They don't want to see it. And I get it. Because it's not a return to form game. This is not BioWare's comeback. Like you're telling me that they abandoned Andromeda for a better future for BioWare. They made Anthem, which was irrelevant to me. And then you make Dragon Age Veilguard, which was supposed to be better than Andromeda and everything. And you have all these reviewers putting 9s and 10s, and now they're backtracking it and saying that the game had flaws and everything, but before it was a perfect 10 out of 10 game. That was like, it seems like those reviews were paid. Their reviews were all paid. It was blatantly obvious. They abandoned their most beloved franchise, and then they wanted to make Dragon Age better than Andromeda. Please don't be another Andromeda. And then they made it worse. It actually is the worst game in all of BioWare games. And I don't buy these PR talks that they're saying stuff like they want to tease people and to make them excited. And when the game comes, it's like a whole different game, a whole different vibe. And that's the problem. I don't know. Now they've seen the Veilguard reception. Maybe they're going to make Mass Effect and not do the same mistakes as a Veilguard. But they also did say we're not going to make the same mistakes as Mass Effect Andromeda. And they actually, the mistakes on the technical part, Andromeda was very buggy. For me, it wasn't at all. I don't know if it was because it was patched, but I didn't have any glitch in my first playthrough. Now that I've played some playthroughs after, I have some glitches, but they're not so big or game breaking to me. And Veilguard was like a clean game. It didn't have many bugs from what I've seen. But the problem with Veilguard, we all know what it is. It was the writing, the characters, and tasks in general. I don't know what's going to happen with Mass Effect. I think it's going to be a very beautiful game with the graphics and all, but they're also gonna have a linear part into the game. And it's been confirmed that the game is going to be on Unreal Engine 5 and it's going to be linear. And I believe that the linear decision is not good. Many people are very excited, but it's going to take the gameplay. I mean, they can make it interesting, but they cannot add the jetpack thing like they did in Andromeda. It was more open. I hope they did more like a semi-open world. That would have been better because they did the Veilguard with hopes of it being better in its character development and the story, and it was a worse game. Like, you don't need to have this thought like we're going to make a linear game because we're gonna focus more on the story and the characters, and it's going to be very good. And that didn't turn out very well for Veilguard. It was very, very small. I've heard that at the end it gets more open, but it's like what? Like, it might be one road more or two paths. And for Mass Effect, if they go back into the linear part, I don't think that's a good idea. They better make it like a semi-open world so we can actually discover some things. I don't like linear or corridors like you walk in one straight line. That won't change the game. That will not make the game better. I mean, technically, yes, it will make the game better. It will make it more tight and the graphics will be more better for them, but everything else is up to BioWare. BioWare is very small as a team, and putting all these developers that worked on Veilguard is not going to bode well for all the fans. And I expect to see a quality like Dragon Age the Veilguard in the next Mass Effect. I honestly expect to see something like it. And Michael Gamble actually helped on making Dragon Age the Veilguard, on finishing the game. So either we'll have to wait and see how it's going to turn out, because I myself expect to see something very, very mid and hope for the best. To everyone that wants to be excited for the next Mass Effect, I advise you to be very cautious and keep your expectations low. Because we have seen a lot of games failing lately, and gaming as a whole is going downhill, but we have some great games. I think that's everything. We had like that small tease with Shepard and the jacket. And I think that's a big mistake for Bioware to do, like a small tease of Shepard. The series which are in development, and we hope that they're gonna make it good. And the Game Awards is almost around the corner. Maybe they're going to show something. Maybe they're gonna show a teaser trailer again, and it's going to be a secret one. But I don't think they're going to show something. Maybe they'll lay low this year and focus on its development. Because now Mass Effect is going to enter its production phase. So next year they'll reveal whatever they have in store for us, and I believe we're going to see the protagonist. And I think that was it for this N7 Day. Next N7 Day is going to be the big one and hopefully a good one. And I'm going to make my next video with last year's N7 Day and analyze this character and everything in it. Thank you all for coming by to my live stream, and make sure to check my other videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!